Welcome in. We have been expecting you. We're so glad that you decided to come back today for another round of our sleep clinic with some interviews to learn a little bit more about yourself. And for us, we get some data that we can use according to how you would like it to be used. Of course. So, may I ask, how are you doing today? Okay. Some weeks are like that. I'm sorry. But, with the formalities out of the way, can I just get some basic information from you here? Real quick. Perfect. Oops. Okay, can you restate your name for me? Perfect. And your occupation? Is that a new job? Okay. It's very unique. So, congratulations on that. Do you enjoy doing that? Okay. Like most things, it has its moments, I agree. With the sentiment, a bit of a fun one here. I can't remember if we had this question the last time you were here, but what is your favorite drinking water temperature? Perfect. And I actually did see that after you said something, so thank you very much for complying and just answering the question. And finally, lightsaber or blaster? Perfect. So let me run you down with how this works. The goal here is you just sit in the chair there, sit back, relax, unwind, let all the stresses of the day go. I will ask you some questions from my screen over here and document your response. And then at the end, I will encourage you, and you are allowed to fall asleep in the chair if you are tired. And we can get you some water. We do provide breakfast as a thank you for doing this interview with us. So if that sounds like something you would enjoy, please just let me know at any time. I will quickly ask, when you were here last, how was your sleep? Okay. Is there anything we could do to make it better for you in any way? Okay, yeah, we can do that. Do you got that? Perfect. Over there is my assistant, Jay. He will just be going off and grabbing that for you real quick. Did you want any coffee to help you get through this? Or a water, just as you stated you preferred? Alright, no worries. That means if you want that water at any point, just let me know. And with your say-so, are you comfortable beginning this quiz to determine which Star Wars faction you will be in? Great. Question number 1. When a large group starts falling into chaos, what do you focus on first? Restoring order through procedure, discussion, and recognized authority? Asking who benefits from the current system staying broken? Establishing a clear chain of command before anyone makes it worse? Or getting vulnerable people out of danger, even if the rules get messy? Okay, great. Question 2. What kind of meeting would you handle best? A long council session where every voice technically gets heard. A tense negotiation where each side wants independence on its own terms. A short briefing where expectations are clear and excuses are not welcome. Or a hidden planning session held in a basement with half-working equipment. Okay, perfect. Pick a personal rule. This is question 3. Institutions only work if people keep trying to improve them. No one should be forced to obey a system that no longer represents them. Stability matters more than everyone getting their preferred outcome. Or a bad law is not worth more than a living person. There are a couple there, yes, but that's your final answer. Perfect. Question 4. When someone challenges your beliefs, what do you do first? Ask questions and try to find common ground. Point out the assumptions they have not questioned. Test whether their argument has discipline or just emotion. Or listen for what they are risking by saying it out loud. I'm very much the same. Great answer. Question 5. What kind of workplace would suit you best? Busy, formal, collaborative, and full of complicated personalities? Independent, specialized, ambitious, and slightly skeptical of central management? Structured, efficient, hierarchical, and very clear about expectations? Or scrappy, mission-driven, flexible, and held together by trust? Okay, so we're starting to see a pattern here. That is a great sign. It hasn't been all the questions, so that's what is beautiful about this assessment, is the uniqueness of the individual shining through. You are shining through here with your answers. Question 6. When plans fall apart, what is your first instinct? Gather the right people, review the options, and build consensus. Break away from the falling plan and design an alternative path. Take control quickly and issue direct instructions. Or improvise with whoever is nearby and protect the mission's heart. Perfect. And it's interesting. The direction you're going because you're a little bit between two of them right now. Alright, question 7. What kind of compliment would mean the most? Is it you kept everyone at the table when they wanted to walk away? You saw the flaw in the system before anyone else admitted it. You brought order to a situation everyone else mishandled. Or you made people brave enough to keep fighting. Okay, yeah. Question 8. What kind of flaw sounds most familiar? You can trust the process longer than the process deserves. You can assume breaking away will solve more than it actually does. You can mistake obedience for loyalty. Or you can act on hope before the plan is fully ready. Fair enough. Question 9. Pick a headquarters vibe. A grand civic building full of debate, history, and endless corridors. A private command room funded by powerful interests with different agendas. A polished military installation where every hallway feels watched. Or a hidden base carved into rough terrain with ships always ready to launch. You're doing amazing. Question number 10. When a friend says, "This isn't fair," what do you usually do? Help them figure out which rule, person, or channel can fix it? Ask whether the whole arrangement was unfair from the beginning. Remind them that fairness means a little without enforceable order. Or stand with them, even if helping causes trouble. Perfect. Alright, we have gotten through the first 10 questions. I want to gauge, how are you feeling here? Okay, and on a scale of 1 to 10, are you enjoying yourself? 10 being the most, my apologies, 1 being the least. Like, you could just get up and walk out, which I will say, if it is 1, you are more than welcome to do. You are not stuck here. You are an active volunteer that we deeply appreciate. Okay, yeah. That's good. Is there anything more we could do for you? Did you want that water yet? I can send Jay. Okay. Perfect. And one last question. What is your favorite color? Fantastic. I really enjoy that color as well. Very few colors that I don't enjoy, but you did pick a good one there. Alright, are you ready to continue? Okay. Well, if you need a break at any point, please let me know, and we can take that break. Question 11. What kind of leader would you follow? Someone diplomatic who can hold together people who disagree. Someone visionary who who is willing to leave a failing structure behind. Someone decisive who values strength, discipline, and results. Or someone courageous who leads from the front when the odds are terrible. That one is kind of... The last answer definitely does lean a certain way of like, of course, but you would be surprised the answers we get, and we appreciate each and every one of them. Question 12. Pick a mission complication. Too many stakeholders all demanding a say. Yuck. Your allies have the same enemy but very different motives. One weak link threatens the efficiency of the whole operation. Or the only workable plan depends on trust and a little luck. Okay. That is a tough one, I agree. The complication part makes you really think about it. Question 13. What motivates you most? Building something lasting that many different people can belong to. Freeing yourself from control disguised as unity. Creating order strong enough to prevent collapse, or protecting freedom when powerful people decide it is inconvenient. Perfect. Question 14. What kind of strategy feels most natural? Negotiate, coordinate, compromise, and keep the alliance intact. Apply pressure where the central system is weakest. Concentrate power, remove uncertainty, and move decisively. Or strike quick, disappear, and let courage make up the difference. Yeah, a little guerrilla warfare action in that last one. Okay. Didn't expect that, but I again appreciate you for being honest. Question 15. What kind of story pulls you in fastest? A fragile democracy trying to survive its own contradictions. A breakaway movement with valid grievances and dangerous allies. A rising regime promising peace through absolute control. Or a scattered resistance refusing to give up against impossible odds. Great. You are doing so well. Question 16. When you have limited resources, what do you prioritize? Fair distribution, even if it takes longer to organize. Strategic investment in whoever can operate independently. Central control, so nothing is wasted or misused. Or getting supplies to the people taking the biggest risks. Okay, perfect. Question 17. What tends to bother you most? People giving up on cooperation too quickly? People people calling control unity and expecting gratitude, people creating disorder and acting surprised by the consequences, or people staying neutral when others are being harmed. Perfect. I did add a little flair there, just to spice things up a little bit. What did you think? I can do it a little more. Pick a symbolic object. A worn charter signed by many different worlds. A broken seal from a government you no longer recognize. A crisp uniform badge polished until it reflects the room. A battered transmitter carrying a message no one can trace. That one does sound clean. It does sound clean. Question 19. In a crisis, how do you handle disagreement? Give people space to speak, then search for a workable middle ground. Let factions split if pretending unity would only hide the problem. End the debate once the mission requires action. Focus on the goal and trust people to argue after surviving. Great. And question 20 here. What kind of tiny victory feels best? Getting two stubborn people to finally agree on something useful? Finding a loophole that lets you operate outside someone else's control? Watching a chaotic system snap into clean, efficient motion? Or pulling off a risky save with almost nothing to work with? Alright, yeah, and like last time, if it's multiple answers, feel free to let me know. There are note sections here that I can add any and all of your thoughts. Even your thoughts about yes. Alright, we're 20 questions in. How are you feeling? That's perfectly normal. Would you like some water? Have you drank any water today? In fact, have you stayed hydrated? Alright. Well, we can get you that water at any time. I want to tell you that I appreciate how honest and open you're being here. And just thank you so much. We've got a few more questions here, a little bit more than a few, but thank you so much. And with that, I want to ask, are you ready to continue? Question 21. What do you secretly want people to notice? That patience is not the same thing as weakness. That your skepticism comes from paying attention. That your discipline prevents worse disasters. Or that your hope is a choice, not naivety. Perfect, and thank you for explaining that to me. Question 22. What kind of team role fits you best? The coordinator who keeps many voices moving in the same direction. The critic who spots when the structure itself is a problem, the commander who clarifies the objective and cuts through noise, or the spark who keeps people going when logic says to quit. A resounding answer, okay. Question 23. Pick a travel destination, a capital planet full of culture, politics, and competing ideals. A wealthy trade world deciding whether to answer to anyone. A fortified sector hub where every arrival is recorded. Or a remote moon where survival depends on secrecy and trust. Perfect. Question 24. What kind of mistakes are you most likely to make believing a reform will arrive before damage spreads? Understanding how messy independence becomes without shared values. Ignoring human cost because the system looks inefficient. Taking on impossible odds because someone has to do it. Very interesting. One more question and I'll explain. Question 25. Someone offers you power. What question do you ask? Who will this help? And who gets a voice? What strings are attached? How much authority comes with it? Can it be used to protect people who cannot protect themselves? Perfect. So, what I was saying is, you were at one point looking like you were going in one direction, then you kind of veered off a little bit, but now you're steering back on. So it's very, very interesting, and you have had some very interesting answers. As always, we very much appreciate your uniqueness in all of this. Yeah, of course. So, at the end, I will explain to you what each of these factions are and what it says a little bit about you. Perfect. It is new. It is new. And it's something we added to help, boost that satisfaction score up a little bit. So, we have 10 more questions. Would you mind if we did them in not a lightning order, but if we did them as one block here? Okay, perfect. Usually we stop every 10, so I just wanted to make sure. Are you ready to begin with these final questions? Perfect. You're an absolute trooper. Question 26. Which fear feels most relatable? That the thing you believe in may be too slow to save itself. That escaping one master may only lead to another. That without control, everything will collapse. Or that one day, courage will not be enough. Okay. Question 27. What kind of ally do you trust most? Someone principled enough to compromise without selling out. Someone independent enough to question every agreement. Someone disciplined enough to follow through exactly. Or someone loyal enough to act before being asked. Oops. There we go, got that situated in there for you. Question 28. What do you do when the official answer feels wrong? Work inside the system until you find someone who can correct it. Start building a case for why the system has lost legitimacy. Decide whether disobedience would cause more damage than compliance. Or break the rule if waiting would cost innocent lives. Perfect. And we saw that a lot in the Clone Wars, that Jedi kind of called audibles more often. Question 29. Pick an atmosphere. Sunlit Senate chambers, polished floors, distant traffic, and restless debate. Private councils, sharp contracts, coded transmissions, and uneasy partnerships. Black floors, white armor, red lights, and silence before orders. Cave hangars, blinking consoles, cold air, and whispered coordinates. Yeah, just having fun with it. Question 30. How do you define loyalty? Staying committed while holding people accountable. Refusing to serve a structure that has stopped earning trust. Obedience to a shared command when uncertainty would weaken everyone. Or standing beside people when doing so cost you something. Perfect. Thank you for that expanded explanation. Got that all in the system here. Question 31. What kind of pressure brings out your best? A delicate negotiation where one bad word could break the room. A political fracture where someone has to name the problem. A high-stakes operation where hesitation would be costly. Or a desperate mission where the odds are terrible, but the cause is right. Okay. Question 32. What do you want people to remember about your choices? Wow. Let me reread that. I completely improvised there. Question 32. How do you want people to remember your choices? As careful, principled, and made for the common good, as bold enough to reject a failing order, as strong enough to bring stability when others could not, or as brave enough to fight when surrender would have been easier. Okay. Fantastic. Question 33. Pick a personal aesthetic. Ceremonial robes, civic symbols, layered history, and soft authority. Sharp tailoring, private insignias, tactical tables, and expensive restraint. Clean uniforms, severe architecture, polished metal, and controlled presence. or flight jackets, patched gear, hidden badges, and practical courage? Wow, you are fascinating. Question 34. What kind of ending satisfies you most? The old system survives because enough people chose to repair it. The breakaway worlds finally choose their own future without permission. Disorder ends, the chain of command holds, and the galaxy obeys one vision. Or a small band proves that even an empire can bleed. Fair enough, yeah. That's a very, very good answer, but like one that I can relate to, you know? Alright, question 35. Nearly the final one. At your core, what are you most drawn to? Complicated cooperation, civic duty, and imperfect ideals worth preserving. Self-determination, skepticism, and the courage to separate from control. Order, strength, discipline, and power made visible. Or defiance, hope, sacrifice, and freedom against impossible odds. Okay. Final question. If you could belong to one group, which would it be? The Galactic Republic, the Separatist Alliance, the Galactic Empire, or the Rebel Alliance? Perfect. Alright, here are your results explained, but first let me run the system. While that's going, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to return to us for another visit, and this data really does help us. We get so many that come through, like yourself, very unique, very vulnerable, very willing to share a piece of themselves, and we appreciate that very deeply. That is why I want to ask again, would you like some water? Alright, Jay will bring that out to you at your desired temperature, like you said earlier. Looks like your results are back, but just know we appreciate you. Thank you, Jay. Your water is now beside you. Here are your results explained. And here are your results. Galactic Republic. If you got mostly Galactic Republic, your answers suggest that you are thoughtful, cooperative, and drawn to big picture responsibilities. You tend to look for structure, fairness, and common ground before making a major decision, and you probably believe that imperfect systems can still be worth repairing. This result fits you because your quiz pattern points towards diplomacy, patience, civic duty, and a desire to hold complicated groups together. Your strengths are perspective, steadiness, and the ability to listen when others would rather escalate. Your growth may come from recognizing when a system has become too slow, too compromised, or too protective of itself. Still, your match shows someone who believes cooperation is not weakness, it is work worth doing. As I said, your results are here. You can see which of these is actually for you. We like to read them all off, just in case you were curious. Next up, we have the Separatist Alliance. If you got mostly Separatist Alliance, your answers suggest that you are independent, skeptical, and unwilling to accept authority just because it is traditional. You tend to question who benefits from a system, whether people are truly represented. And when it is time to walk away from something that no longer deserves loyalty, this result fits you because your quiz pattern points towards self-determination, strategic critique, and a strong instinct for spotting hidden flaws. Your strengths are independence, analysis, and courage to challenge what others take for granted. Your growth may come from remembering that breaking away is only the beginning. What comes next needs shared values, trust, and care. Still, your match shows someone who refuses to confuse obedience with justice. Next up, we have Galactic Empire. If you got mostly Galactic Empire, your answers suggest that you are disciplined, decisive, and deeply aware of how quickly disorder can spread. You tend to value structure, efficiency, and strength. Strength and clear expectations, especially when people around you are panicking or wasting time. This result fits you best because your quiz pattern points towards control, command, high standards, and a belief that stability requires focus. Your strengths rely on confidence, or your strengths are confidence, organization, and the ability to act when others hesitate. Your growth may come from noticing when order becomes too rigid, when authority stops listening, or when efficiency comes at the expense of people. Still, your match shows someone with a powerful presence and the nerve to take responsibility under pressure. Finally, we have the Rebel Alliance. If you got mostly Rebel Alliance answers, your answers suggest that you are brave, hopeful, and guided by a strong sense of moral urgency. You tend to act when people need help, even if the odds are bad or the plan is not perfected yet. This result fits you because your quiz patterns point towards courage, loyalty, improvisation, and a willingness to protect freedom when powerful forces make it inconvenient. Your strengths are heart, resilience, and the ability to inspire others when things look impossible. Your growth may come from learning when hope needs planning, rest, and support to survive. Still, your match shows someone strong who believes that even small acts of courage can shake the galaxy. Also, we do read because not everyone is exactly 100% one of these. I can tell you for a fact that you did not answer exactly 100% any one of these. I can tell you for a fact that you had one question at least where you marked at least one of each of these. So it just goes to show how unique each and every individual is, including yourself. Now, I want to officially say you have done it. You have completed this interview, and you have your Star Wars faction. Feel free to rest as long as you would like. Would you like us to set an alarm for you? Perfect. Do you have plans tomorrow? Fantastic. Well, enjoy, and I hope that we will see you again. And of course, we will wake you up in the morning with your breakfast. On to the next chapter.